I was having a rough 6 o'clock hour.
I thought maybe it was another Doc Bryce moment.
No. This one was all on JJ, so, you know. It was just me being stupid. I couldn't add.
You couldn't add?
Right. Because we do everything in seconds, right?
Right, and in measurements of 60.
Yes. And, well, I was having difficulty with that this morning. I kept my shoes on.
I'm glad I'm not the only one, man, because, I used to be able to look at a clock and I could sit there and just pow, 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 pow.
Oh, yeah.
And back time and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then that kind of messed up me doing regular math, because now you're doing it in hundreds.
Right. And, yeah, it just doesn't work, right?
And now that I'm getting older, now I look at it and I'm like, it should be.
Just a second. I know this. Okay.
Give me a minute.
So, yeah, and that's the whole problem is I have to switch from money to time.
Yes.
Constantly.
But isn't it funny how money and time and money are tied together? Though?
Yes, I know. Never seem to have enough time to make all the money I need. So, all right, let's go ahead and kick this thing.
Hey, what do you guys want to listen to? I'll turn on the radio.
That's what I'm talking about.
We're putting on a brand new show.
It is going to be so awesome.
Apparently you're some kind of psychic.
Dude, you're being very unballer right now.
I'm just trying to help you wake up, man.
Nobody asked you.
Somebody woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
Can we get started? We haven't started.
Showtime.
Wake up! Boy, I needed that this morning.
Maybe just need more coffee.
Well, and that was the other problem is I just made the coffee. It took me so much time adding this morning and subtracting. They didn't have time to make coffee. So, anyway, I'm telling you, it's rough getting old. Let's see. What do we got? Oh, the FAA had to ground every plane in the U.S. yesterday. Did you see that?
Yeah, and it wasn't based on weather this time.
No, it's the first time, though, since 9/11.
I was about to say, we haven't grounded all air flights since 9/11.
They think one corrupted file did it.
Isn't that typical?
Uh-huh.
That one file.
So for you guys that are just catching up, they issued a nationwide order around 7:30 yesterday morning that stopped all flights from taking off. The issue was with their NOTAM system that lets them relay info to pilots. NOTAM stands for Notice to Air Missions. People immediately thought it might have been a cyber attack.
You know, that used to be called Airman.
Yes.
And they changed it?
Back in the day.
To make it more politically correct.
Right.
Yeah.
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 The White House said they didn't think it was, but they weren't ruling anything out. Planes were taking off again an hour or two later, but it caused a massive backlog. By last night, over 1,300 flights had been canceled and more than 10,000 had been delayed. The FAA is hoping things get back to normal today. A couple of the updates I saw this morning, they think that a single corrupted file caused it and it tanked the primary and backup systems.
Yeah, they say it's based on outdated tech.
And they're still trying to figure out how it got corrupted, but there was no evidence of a cyber attack.
It probably needs a driver update.
Well, probably they're probably running Windows 98. God knows that happened to us here, huh?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I remember back in the day when everything was still running on Windows XP, and you couldn't buy a new machine because everything was running Vista at the time.
Right. Yeah.
And so then if we, because we did this, we got new computers to come in, Dells and everything, and we were going to upgrade the computer systems for on-air. This was back like 2007 when I was the engineer here.
Right.
And we got all these Dells in, and then come to find out the old OMT system will not work on Vista. So we had to send all the Dells back and tell them, no, we need XP installed on.
You got to send us back XP, man.
And then they argued with us about, you don't want to do that because, it's outdated and everything. You want to go visit. And we're like, dude, you don't understand. We're a radio station. We need XP. Put it on there.
Shut up, do what I tell you to do.
Figure it out.
Oh, and get this, though. The FAA knew there was a problem on Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, and they just kind of like held their breath and was like,
well,
maybe it'll correct
the only
itself.
way to fix it was by rebooting the whole system, and they decided to do it early yesterday morning to get it done before most flights would be taking off.
And the worst part was when they rebooted it, that's when it forced them into a Windows update.
It said working.
Do not unplug your computer.
For those of you that's wondering, it's never happened before. The AP, Associated Press, asked aviation experts, and they couldn't remember a tech issue ever causing something this widespread.
Maybe it was that leftover Y2K bug.
Probably. We are awfully close to Y2 2023, 2023. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, 23 years later, that Y2K glitch finally kicked in.
Oh, and get this, Doc. The system is very outdated.
Yes.
It's been around since 1947 and used to be phone-based. Now it's all online, but politicians are calling for an overhaul, of course.
Of course they are.
Yeah, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, isn't that his name?
Buttigieg.
Yeah, whatever.
The guy who's in charge of transportation.
Yeah, he says he thinks it's the right time to talk about it.
Now is the time. Hey, look, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
Even though
God
it's from
knows,
1947.
Oh, and the Canucks had their own issues. Their NOTAM system went down for a few hours later, but their backup worked, so it didn't cause delays.
Well, figures the Canadians would have it figured out.
Officials ruled out a cyber attack and said they don't think it was related to the U.S. outage. And the UK had a cyber incident, too, with its mail service. They didn't call it a cyber attack, but it's still not clear what happened. They said it caused minor delays with mail being delivered overseas. It's not clear if that's related at all. And this all came just weeks after major flight delays around the holidays.
Now, here's something interesting.
All right, go ahead.
So the system that the FAA has was created over 75 years ago.
Right, yeah.
The NOTAM, right? So it was formerly called Notice to Airmen, now Notice to Air Missions. So what it does is it alerts pilots of any hazards along their route and their destination, such as flocks of birds, icy runways, and everything like that. So it was rebooted, and after the corrupted data was discovered, and it took longer than an AOL dial-up to get back online to give you a comparison.
See, that's horrible, man.
75 years that thing's been running.
Well, tap it on the side, man. Me.
Yo, you mean like the old color TV where the, vertical hole goes out?
Give it to good old.
And you just smack it on the side and the vertical hole comes back?
There you go.
I wonder if they're still using those old green monochrome monitors, to show blips.
Probably.
Looks like
they're playing Battleship or something like that on there. All right, guys and gals, it's time for the Roundtable, brought to you each and every weekday by our friends out at SAU Tech. Tech's got class, Doc.
They got lots of class.
Lots and lots.
They're classier than me.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't sell yourself short there, Bryce.
Anybody could be classier than me.
Hey, put your shoes back on. Okay.
Those aren't my shoes.
Oh, well, don't put them on then. I thought the heels were a little tall. All right. Tech, go Rockets.
Yes. Yeah, they have an aviation program. Maybe they should help out the FAA.
You choked me up here.
Oh, that'd be really sad. A bunch of SAU Tech students showing the government how it should be done.
But, they probably could. That's the problem that I have with most of that.
That's not the problem. That's the punchline.
Yeah. Let's see. We're also brought to you by Elite Fitness Clubs of Arkansas, 1289 West Washington. They are a premier 24-hour fitness facility. They offer tanning and saunas. Oh, they got classes, state-of-the-art equipment, and they got a smoothie bar.
Ooh.
Oh, and they got swag, too.
Oh.
Yeah, I was talking with the owner, Nick, and I told him, I said, dude, we need a little swag. And he said, oh, man, we can probably do that.
He's going to put a smoothie bar in here?
No, but he's going to send us some stuff to give away.
Smoothies?
Probably not.
Oh.
I don't know, man. Maybe that's what I need him to do is, give me a bunch of coupons for free smoothies.
Whip you up one of them protein smoothies.
Yeah. Let's go see what that's all about.
Yeah. You don't want him to bring it to you because then it'll be all slushy by the time you get to enjoy it.
New Year's special going on at Elite Fitness Club. All sign-up fees for new members in 2023 will be $23 throughout the rest of January. Yeah. Expires into January.
You better hurry.
So, don't wait. Don't procrastinate. Let's see. St. John's Place in Fordyce, Washington Nursing and Rehab in Camden. The choice for all of your rehabilitation and long-term care needs. Providing award-winning short-term therapy services, too. Reach them online, stjohnsplaceofarkansas.com, washingtonnursing.com. First Choice Family Care. Dr. Smith just texted. She says, I'm coming. I said, okay. So she's right down the street. She'll be here in just a minute, probably right after this commercial break.
Coming.
Yep. And she's like, wait for me. Yeah. Okay.
Well, we could go ahead and start doctory stuff now.
Oh, sure.
We could just go with what we know.
Dude.
And then she could, it'd be like a pop quiz for her, because then she can
she'd be like debunking us.
Yeah. Then she can fact check us.
No, you don't put diesel on a cut. First Choice Family Care. If you want to know the real doctory story, go to myfirstchoicecare.com, get you a new patient packet, and then call her up 870-800-9002. Oh, man, you get that whole hair thing going on again today.
Well,
Hang on, I'm tangled. There we go.
Did you get snagged?
Yeah, just a little. She was fishing over here. All right, let's see. Where was I? First Choice Family Care.
Oh, yeah, she is doing the hair thing today.
Yeah, see?
I've got my hair, yes.
It's on
my head.
It's all, like wavy.
Well, usually when you have long hair and you got to work, you always tie it up so it doesn't get caught into stuff.
Yeah, I tie it up a lot because I don't want to get into the stuff I deal with.
See, so she today must be her day off.
I'm actually going to go up to Little Rock and I'm going to give a speech. I'm going to give a talk to the family medicine medical students.
Oh, that's why she has her hair down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully the students don't get stuff in my hair.
Be sure to wear your stethoscope. Don't forget your stethoscope.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
we have to remind you to wear that stethoscope. How else are they going to know you're a doctor?
I know. I think of it as a photo prop. That's what my white coat is. It just is a photo prop. That's what I use in my TikTok videos.
That's what Obama did when he was selling ACA. He had all those doctors behind him, but the only way we knew they were doctors is they were in lab coats and had stethoscopes. So we knew they were official.
And that probably means that they were paid actors. No, I'm kidding. Doctors look really sleepy, and they're usually in scrubs.
Speaking of doctors, we're brought to you by OCMC's Chemical Dependency Unit as well, reminding you that addiction is tough to get through. They know it. They know it so well that they are willing to help you, and they are the very best in the business. You can make that choice to be a better you.
And if you've wondered if you need help, then just ask.
Yeah, I mean, consultations are free.
Do I need help?
And they're not going to jail you up and lock you up, throw away the key. They're going to help you.
They don't call Bo on you or anything like that.
It's a health. It's actually that's protected through HIPAA, which is a federal privacy law. It is a felony for someone to give away your medical information. So if you call them because you're worried about not calling them because you're worried about your privacy, you could easily get someone in a lot of trouble if they broke your privacy. Nobody wants to, I promise. No medical professional wants to break your privacy.
Nope. Let's see. We're also brought to you by Mitch Lowe's Body Shop. Accidents happen, so if you put it in the ditch, go see the body doctors at Mitch Lowe's Body Shop.
The body doctor.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to help them out a little bit. Let's see. Mitch Lowe's Body Shop, 837-2560. Everybody's Antiques in El Dorado, 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 on Saturday. Corner Bradley and West Hillsboro, 120 booths, 31,000 square feet.
It's over by Chickadilly.
Yeah, good stuff there, too. Everybody'santiques.com, 870-875-1444, and by Stories Floor and Carpet, inviting you to visualize. That's right. Visualize your new flooring project at storiesfloor.com. Oh, and through January, I think it's like January 27th, get 12 months, 0 interest on your new project with your good credit at Stories Floor and Carpet. Online, storiesfloor.com. Call 870-862-9446. We got to take this break. Hang out. We'll be right back. I don't have your opener.
Where's my theme music?
What happened?
Hang on. I can do this.
Was this the FAA glitch?
Well, yes.
You got a bad driver?
Because I'm like, really? I mean, so, I don't know where it went. I was like, really? All right, well, you know what? We'll find it. In the meantime.
Give me the news I got.
All right, yeah. Here we go. All right.
I wonder if we'll get flagged for that. For copyright infringement since we sang it instead.
You probably.
You violated a...
I've been playing it left and right. Oh, well, yeah. Okay, here we go.
Well, I have to take it out now. Because when I post the podcast, it flags the song, even though it's cut up. It's not the whole song. It recognizes it and then tells me that I can't, that the audio will be muted.
Yeah. My Facebook Live was shutting off because I had background music playing. I just had background music playing Christmas music when Santa Claus was at the clinic, and it kept shutting off our Facebook Live.
Yeah, you don't have the rights to play that.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody fine now?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, I can do my job now.
I don't want you guys to miss your opener, so...
I couldn't do it before, so I appreciate that.
All right, well, we are running out of time fast this morning.
Well, let's get going.
Yeah, I mean, because we got questions
so
coming
in
in left and
hour.
right. Oh, an extra hour, Doc Bryce.
Yeah.
Do you think you can
just move things around and let me have an hour?
You can do that, right, Don?
Sure, on that side.
So, but we can get to started on a couple things. The first one is really cool. It says, my daughter really likes to listen to Dr. Smith, and now she wants to be a doctor at 11 years old. What advice would Dr. Smith have for a young person wanting to pursue a career in medicine? And at 11 years old, I would just really encourage you to be a nerd. Don't be afraid. You're about to get to a time in life where everybody's judging everybody for everything, and they all just... If you stick out at all, you're made fun of for it, right? And I promise you, that's a very limited time of life, and those nerds that embrace their nerdy geekiness make the most out of their whole life. And so if you ever feel like you're out of place at school, that you just don't fit in, well, hallelujah, it's because you haven't hit your prime yet, okay? So just remember that when you're going to school and you're like, I gotta go to school and I just don't fit in anywhere. Well, it's just because you haven't found your place. And I promise you, that happens. At some point in your life, that happens. And so I would just read, really explore the sciences, get involved in whatever sounds good. If you want to be in STEM, do whatever, get involved, like just explore, read books about female scientists. Like there's so much out there, like just enjoy life right now.
Well, at that age, they're not getting elective classes quite yet.
Right.
All right. So, you might also want to start thinking about, classes that you're going to be interested in.
Yeah, and now in our day and age, there's all kinds of stuff online that aren't like classes for a grade. And so it opens up, if they're not having to test you on something, they can literally just talk about what's interesting about something, And so there's all kinds of stuff online that you can do. You can get like science experiments sent to your house once a month and like do little experiments that teach basic science principles. Like just enjoy it. Like, and I would encourage you to do what you enjoy. And then the other thing is as I was in school, I was at a really small school. I mean, we were probably, how many does Hampton graduate a year?
A couple hundred anyway.
Really?
Maybe.
Because, my school's even smaller than Hampton then, and I thought it was about the size of Hampton.
I may be, way overestimating.
I graduated one of 45. And so it was a really small town. And they had told us my junior year that we were going to be incorporated into another school, but that didn't happen. So being in a small town, only 6 people even went on to college. So just don't get bogged down in the details. You'll have people that are like, well, you won't do this. Most people that go to pre-med don't graduate and go to medical school. Okay, my life is open. Like, I'm going to do what I love, and if that leads me down a different path, then that's okay. I don't have to plan my whole life to go to medicine. If I do what I love and I end up being a doctor, then great. You're going to be a great doctor.
Well,
right?
And, if you're that interested in becoming a doctor, just come down and see patients with Dr. Smith.
We should have, I want to start getting, especially with the high school students, I want to start getting like a day where, and I need to arrange that with the school where the high school students that are interested in medicine can come and shadow for an afternoon or something.
Sure.
That way you can kind of get an idea of what it's like.
And you know what? You'd learn a lot.
And it's not fair. Not every doctor has such an awesome career as I do. So I've got great patients.
That's because you're an awesome
staff.
doctor.
I'm in a great place. So
what else we got?
Does First Choice do school physicals? Yes. Yes and yes. And you can just go ahead and schedule those in the summertime. Like if your child should have a well child check once a year. And so if they haven't had a well child check since their last birthday, just call or message if you have the Helo app. Call your doctor. Your child should be having a well child check every year. This next question says, my husband is having problems in the bedroom and I don't know if it's him or me. Is there a way to figure this out without the help of a doctor? So there are definitely some things, but if you're a male that's having trouble with sex, and especially if you have any other medical conditions, especially if you take medication for those medical conditions, it's worth just a quick discussion with your doctor to make sure it's not a side effect of your medication or a sign that you may be having problems with, like a complication from one of your conditions. Impotence or the failure to be able to get an erection is going to be a common problem with diabetics. It's also going to be a common side effect of certain blood pressure medicines. So it's definitely worth talking to the doctor, because it may be, okay, let's switch this one to this one, and then all your problems go away. So it's worth that discussion.
Or you could just put on that French maid costume and you'll run around the house and you'll know whether or not it's you or him real quick.
And then just explore, what you liked when you were 20 may be different than what you like when you're 40, and that's okay. Like we can learn and explore and learn new things together, and it can be really fun. And listen to sexy books on Audible, and
it's the modern
get a couple
age of
toys,
things.
like spice it up, try something new. It may just be a little bit of a lull, but when you're in that lull, all things can get is better. So try something new. And if it's female type related, a lot of times it's psychological. It's in our brains. And so I would encourage you to read a book. It's called Come As You Are. Her name is Emily Nagasaki, I think. But she's a sex therapist that writes a book called Come As You Are. And if you're a man that's listening to this and you're like, man, I wish my wife would read that book, right?
Yeah,
you go read that book.
Her birthday, Christmas, Valentine's is coming up.
No, if you have thought in your brain right then that your wife should read that book, you go read that book. Because understanding female sexuality will help you in the bedroom, I promise.
Well, you got to know where things are.
You got to know where things are and how they work. Like, for example, a lot of people don't realize that there's two different types of arousal. Some people have what's called spontaneous arousal, means I get excited and I'm thinking about warm, fuzzy feelings just in my day-to-day, right? Some people do not have spontaneous arousal. Some people only have receptive arousal, which means if you do warm, fuzzy things to them, then they get aroused.
Well,
but they don't spontaneously think of sex in the day. They don't spontaneously think of anything, right? And so some men can feel very upset that their wife doesn't like them the same way they like their wife. And that's not true. Her like just looks different. Her motor has to warm for a while. You can't just go taking a drag race. Whereas most men have spontaneous arousal. It don't take much and they're interested. Right?
Yeah, there she goes again. It's all our fault. Huh?
It's not bad, but just understanding that we're different sometimes, and that's okay. And we can be understanding of that and change how we behave and still have just as much fun.
Okay.
And then how can I prevent nerve damage with diabetes? The best thing is keeping your sugar under control, doing whatever it costs to keep that sugar low, because it's the high sugars that are toxic to the nerves.
Well, diet is one of the key things with diabetes, right?
Yes. And exercise. People really, like, one of the healthiest things you can do as a diabetic is after you eat a big meal, go for a walk. Like, don't sit down. If you can, walk upstairs. You'll get out of breath in a heartbeat. It's really good cardio. But it also activates the butt a lot more than walking does. So if you can do squats, do squats. like 10 squats right after eating, because you're activating the biggest muscles in the body, and it helps burn sugar, keeps your sugar lower after a big meal. So the best thing that you can do to prevent nerve damage and diabetes is making sure that your sugars are staying at goal, and then staying active. Right. And then making sure, because a lot of people, I've seen people come in, it's like, oh, I have neuropathy. And it's like, well, did you actually have the workup, or did we just diagnose you as neuropathy because you're a diabetic with bad sugars? And there's actually other things that can cause neuropathy. So if somebody just told you have neuropathy and they didn't do a nerve conduction test or check your B12 and folate levels, your thyroid, there's certain things that you still need to check, even if you think it's probably diabetic neuropathy. Right? So while we're getting your sugars down, we need to check these other things to make sure that you don't have like a pinched nerve in your back, or, a B12 deficiency, something like that.
Okay.
And then how do I control pimples and acne? The biggest thing is, and it all depends on the age group, and I'll try to make a video on that. Most people don't have oily skin, and they're still treating their skin like they're a teenager. They're getting the acne products over the counter, and I would say stop. If you are above 20, stop using acne products. You do not need the stuff for oily skin, I promise you. Your skin's natural skin barriers have to do with its own oils and things, and you don't want to just get rid of that all the time, or you actually open yourself up for more bacterial problems. And so washing your face twice a day with a more gentle cleanser. You want to go for things that say normal skin, not oily skin. And if you have dry skin, which most people have dry skin this time of year, you may actually want to get things that are made for dry to normal skin, right? You want to wash your face twice a day. You want to use a good moisturizer with sunscreen in the morning, and a nighttime moisturizer without that, with some extra oomph to it at night. That alone is going to change your skin a whole lot. One of the things you can get over the counter is called Differin Gel. It's a topical retinoid. It will help with acne and fine lines and wrinkles and everything, but it's real irritating for some people. But you do it at night. So after you wash your skin, pat dry, you want it damp. You're not getting it super dry. You put that retinoid on, and then you put your heavy moisturizer on. And if you find that it is one of those things that irritates your skin, do it like every other night or every couple nights. And then CeraVe has a retinol cream that actually you can use twice a day, but it's a real mild, it's not very strong retinoid. And I find that even though I'm really sensitive to those creams, I can use it every day, twice a day. And I'll just use that other stronger one like every 2 or 3 nights, because it makes my skin too sensitive.
All right.
And you won't have any problems with acne. Just wash with a warm washcloth. It's plenty exfoliating, and you'll be fine.
I just use lye soap.
No.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man.
I know how you men are. You like wash your face with shampoo. You like wash your hair, and you're just like,
there's hair there.
I had somebody ask me about AFib. Best thing to do for AFib, the best thing is make sure you have a good cardiologist. You want to make sure that you don't have sleep apnea, and that if you do, you're getting treated for it, because those people are more likely to have AFib. You want to make sure your thyroid's been tested, and that it's in good range. It's kind of like Goldilocks. I tell people we don't want it too hot, we don't want it too cold, we want it just right. And there's a couple levels that we check and monitor over time. And how often we monitor those depends on if they were normal last time we checked them. So making sure your thyroid's in good control, eating right, exercising can all help. Making sure you get good sleep is important with AFib, and whether or not you need to be on an anticoagulant, because AFib changes how the heart pumps. If you have a good pump and it's pumping normal, it's very efficient. But AFib, they kind of don't pump the same all the time. And so what happens is that you can actually form tiny clots within the heart when it doesn't pump that beat. And then the next beat it pumps, it shoots all those clots out to the brain, which is not good.
Clot's bad.
And so
right, Doc Bryce?
Yeah, yes.
Your heart doctor should be able to tell you whether or not that you need to be on an anticoagulant, but most people on AFib need to be on something. And we've come a long way with those. I had somebody ask about polyps, and it all depends, because you can get polyps in your, I'm going to assume we're talking about the intestine, but there's also polyps.
They said lungs? Lung polyps?
Lung polyps.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's like polyps, a popcorn lung.
Popcorn lung is kind of like it tends to be from a chemical exposure.
Usually, well, that's what they connect with vaping, is popcorn lung.
Oh, yeah.
I hear them in the ads that we play from the Arkansas Department of Health. You know, don't get, don't get Nick sick, don't vape.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get polyps lots of places. Maybe they're talking about the condition you can get from vaping, which, like I said, it's a chemical exposure tends to cause that condition. But you can get like polyps in your uterus, you can get polyps in your colon, you can get all kinds of polyps everywhere.
What would be early signs of like lung cancer or something like that?
So making sure that you're getting screened for lung cancer is important. I find that a lot of my patients that are new to me have not been screened when they should have been screened. That's something that you should discuss at your wellness checkups. If you have more than a 15-year smoking history and you have not quit for more than 15 years, so if you've stopped smoking for more than 15 years, you don't have to get cancer screening. But if you have not quit or it's been very recent, you probably still need a yearly cancer screen for lung cancer, because by the time you have symptoms, it's not good.
Well, what would be some of the early warning signs?
For some people get recurrent infections. So if you find that you keep getting pneumonia, like a true pneumonia, that would be a why type thing. You also want to make sure that I just can't emphasize prevention. Like there's good coverage for prevention, so you shouldn't get symptomatic. You should be getting your prevention.
Right.
But you may find a change in your shortness of breath. Tends to concerning signs. So a lot of people, they feel something on their breast or something, they think, oh, I've got cancer, or they see changes in their colon, like, oh, maybe I have cancer, right? Cancer is not quiet, and it doesn't slowly happen, right? Unless it's prostate, then maybe. But in general, if you have a cancer that's big enough to give you symptoms, you're going to be sweating profusely at night. That doesn't mean you get warm and it's 80 degrees when it was supposed to be wintertime. Like, it's not those types of things. It means I sweat so much I have to change my clothes or even change my sheets type thing. I'm losing weight and I'm not intending to. You know, I feel bad. Like, I don't feel like myself. Those are B symptoms, and those would be concerning to me.
Okay.
But if you're asymptomatic, you're not having those things, and you've smoked for more than 15 years, and you're older, I think it's supposed to start at 55. I'd have to double check. But if you're older than 55, you should be getting a yearly CAT scan of your chest to check for lung cancer.
Okay.
And stop smoking.
Absolutely. All right.
And then I had one more person ask me about liver health. They asked me about non-alcoholic steatohepatitis or fatty liver disease. And they specify non-alcoholic because literally fatty liver disease can hurt your liver just like an alcoholic. It can cause cirrhosis or scarring of the liver. And so it's super important that we treat that. Up until now, we haven't had any treatments. We just say lose weight, right? Which is important. If you're overweight, I would avoid any kind of alcohol. I would also avoid Tylenol. Tylenol is not good if your liver's not good. Your liver is needed to metabolize Tylenol correctly. And if it's not working 100%, no Tylenol. And so with that, eating healthier is super important. The liver filters the intestines, so you want to make sure that I'd be trying to have a high fiber diet. Most Americans, we need 30 to 40 grams of fiber in a day, and average we get 12. Yeah, like a third of what we're supposed to have. So most people need to take a fiber supplement and increase the fiber in your diet because it just helps the colon work better, and that's going to lessen your liver's job.
So what would be a good fiber supplement?
I really like psyllium husk. You can get it in a Metamucil variety. If you've heard people talk about colon broom, it's real popular right now. Hella expensive, like for what you're getting, and it's not as much fiber as Metamucil. And I've tried both of them for science, and I prefer the taste of the Metamucil with real sugar. Like, you're not going to excessively drink your fiber supplement, so just get the plain sugar in it. Like, you're no use to have artificial sweeteners unless you're a diabetic, a true diabetic, especially if you're having trouble controlling your sugars. But that fiber supplement will actually help you metabolize things better. So I tell people, especially if you want to lose weight, take that fiber supplement 10 minutes before you eat. You will eat better. You'll feel fuller from that meal. And it's like eating an extra serving of vegetables. Psyllium fiber is a plant-based fiber supplement. And so it's like you just ate a whole serving of vegetables right before you ate. You don't eat as much. And whatever it is you ate is actually lower on the glycemic index because that fiber is going to make it go through the gut better. You're not going to sit there and absorb it the same as if you hadn't ate fiber with that meal.
And you're going to get a whole lot more regular.
Yes, you will not have any troubles with constipation. You want to drink lots of water, avoid alcohol if you have liver trouble. And there actually is a medication in the works to treat non-alcoholic steatohepatosis. Those studies are done. It's been submitted to the FDA for review. And so here very soon this year, we may have an approved treatment for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And that's super exciting because we've never had anything really before.
Modern leaps.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So is it true that fiber offsets sugar? So like, for example, you eat an orange, right? And you eat the whole orange. It's got the fiber in there, right?
So let me tell you, watermelon is super high on the glycemic index. It means that when you eat watermelon, it turns to sugar in your bloodstream like immediate. Opposite of that, you eat a cherry, a real cherry, not like the ones floating in syrup, like
bar
a fresh
cherries.
one.
You mean bar cherries.
Not the bar cherries, but a real cherry or a raspberry. Those tiny berries have like all the seeds and stuff. They're very high fiber foods. Raspberries are very high fiber foods because you end up eating all those tiny seeds. And what happens is that when that watermelon's in your gut, there's literally nothing to keep it from breaking down that sugar. Whereas when that raspberry is in the gut, it's lower on the glycemic index, meaning that it's so high in fiber that the breaking down of the fiber slows how quickly your body absorbs the sugar that was in that. So I tell people all the time, fruit is good for you. If you're diabetic, it's not bad, but it can still raise your sugar. If you pair that with a protein or a fiber, that fruit won't affect your sugar the same way. So if you eat an apple with cheese, it won't affect your sugar the same as if you eat an apple by itself.
But that's the difference between actually eating the fruit versus drinking juice.
Yes, because when you drink the juice, do you know have you ever tried to make juice?
Yes.
How many oranges?
Sangria, but doesn't that count? Or?
How many oranges does it take to make a glass of orange juice?
4.
Yeah, like 4 or 5, right? Would you sit here and eat 4 or 5 oranges?
Well, it depends. Am I allowed to have vodka?
Well, the reason why I ask is I've got a juicer, and I notice all that pulp gets thrown onto one side.
I don't like juicers.
I've started to realize that I've made a mistake. Because I actually like when you buy orange juice at the store, I like the pulp. I like the high pulp, but come to find out, just drinking the juice is not as good for you as eating the orange.
So it's not bad to do like smoothies or something, but I would encourage you get like a NutriBullet instead and put the whole orange in. That way you're not taking out the fiber.
Right.
Because juicers, but if it's helping you get those things in, because a lot of people struggle with having good variety in their diet. I told my dad, and my dad, if he's listening, I'm calling him out. I'm like, yeah, you gotta try to get the rainbow in, the reds and the purples and the yellows. And he's
Skittles.
like, that's exactly what he said. That's exactly what he said. I'm like, no. But if doing a smoothie or something is helping you get the purple things and the blue things and the green things, then do it.
But you're still getting the fiber though, right?
Exactly. It's still in there.
It's just in liquid form. But that's better than juice.
Yes, and remember that when you're trying to lose weight, liquid doesn't make you feel as full of solids. So you can actually add a whole bunch more calories in if you're not taking those calories out. So if you eat the same breakfast every day and you're like, oh, I want to start doing smoothies, and you put a 500-calorie smoothie along with the same breakfast, it's just a lot more calories. It's probably not healthy. like adding calories to try to be healthy is not healthy. So I'll see people that they want to eat this, but I'm going to add a salad to be healthy, and then they use 200 calories of ranch on that salad. That salad is not healthy for you if you're adding it to the calories you were already eating. Like, if you want to eat a salad, but don't try to add things to what you were already eating to try to be healthy because you're only adding calories.
Like the blue cheese and the croutons.
So if you want to have a good salad, but don't I'm going to have fried catfish and French fries and I'm going to eat salad with it to make it healthy.
Well, yeah.
No, leave off the salad. It's just extra calories. Eat a salad for dinner or a salad for lunch if you're going to have that for dinner.
Have coleslaw instead.
If you're going to do a smoothie, don't eat a full meal.
Cabbage is good for you.
Cabbage is super good for you.
There you go. See?
Coleslaw.
Yeah, coleslaw.
Perfect.
Sauerkraut.
Some people, that's the only vegetable they get. That's fine. But don't make a big old smoothie and then eat a full breakfast because you just added probably close to 1,000 calories to your day and you haven't even got through the whole day yet.
So a smoothie and a double chili cheeseburger with jalapenos and extra onions is not a good thing.
Probably not.
Corn dogs.
Thanks, Dr. Smith. Thank you, Dr. Smith. All right, guys and gals, we are way out of bounds. We've got to go ahead and get through this top of the hour stuff. Thanks to all of our sponsors, Elite Fitness Clubs, SAU Tech, St. John's Place, and Washington Nursing and Rehab, First Choice Family Care, OCMC's CDU, Mitchello's Body Shop, Everybody's Antiques, and Stories Floor and Carpet. You guys hang out. And remember, you can always get your questions in on the text line, 501-313-0944. Or, like everybody else seems to be doing. If you've got my number, you can text me or text the doctor or, message us or whatever.
I got somebody, one of those questions I answered was commented on a video. Somebody found me at church last night. So
yeah, wherever you got to get the questions in.
I've been spotted.
You guys have a wonderful day, and more of us is coming back. Stay tuned.